Paperboy, Paperboy. What you know about Paperboy?
I've seen Atlanta too.
Oh.
I'm Adam Maness.
And I'm Peter Martin.
And you're listening to the You'll Hear It podcast.
Daily jazz advice coming at you.
Coming at you with a little This Week in Jazz, our monthly feature.
Why is that funny every time?
It's funny every
the
time.
irony of it all.
Yeah, I don't know.
We might have done this. Yeah, no, it's been about a month probably.
It's been about a month.
Yeah.
Just a reminder, too, that today's episode of the You'll Hear It podcast is sponsored by the Oxford American. The Oxford American is a magazine dedicated to documenting the complexity and vitality of the American South. Its award-winning annual music issue comes with a CD sampler and digital download. It's a must-have for any serious music fan. Recent issues have featured Nina Simone, Thelonious Monk, John Cage, and John Coltrane. Visit oxfordamerican.org/YHI today. That's oxfordamerican.org/YHI.
/ What? Oh, like as opposed to a backslash.
It's really just slash.
I got it. Slash.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
Man.
Well, let's jump into what happened this week over the last month. What do we have first?
Well,
we
first,
had some nice things here.
Yeah, we should talk about what happened here last week.
Well, this was big in the Week in Jazz, I think.
Yeah, I mean, we officially launched what we call Open Studio Brazil.
Yes.
We recorded a brand new course by the amazing Brazilian pianist from Sao Paulo, Elio Alves.
Yeah.
In the house, we had one of the best drummers I've ever heard, Edu Ribeiro.
Yep.
We brought OG Open Studio artist, Homero Lubambo in town, too.
Yes.
We had, like, Brazilian jazz royalty up in the house.
We did.
For sure.
Yep.
And we recorded some new courses. We did an amazing live concert, still being talked about. That's
the newsworthy item, I would say, right there.
You think so?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the courses are going to be news in the future once we get them out there. But I think that the concert was really special. It was our second Open Studio Live, and it's just been a fun thing that we're kind of we're not really playing with it anymore because we're doing it. We're stepping it up, and we're kind of still a little bit experimenting. But I think the idea is that we do a live stream, we do a live concert. We had about 80 people. I mean, about 10 more than we could legally fit in here.
Don't tell the fire marshal.
Packed up in here, and just had an amazing, the concept I think for us is sort of almost like a listening room thing. It's not really a jazz club, and we are a studio, but we really give it a fun, warm feeling, and everyone's playing acoustically. Yeah. No sound reinforcement, and you're sitting very, very close. I mean, we had people sitting behind, and actually, everyone can go and look at the video because we did a wonderful. The team did a great video and audio recording of this, which is available on YouTube. Yeah, link will be in the description. Right,
we'll include the link. Yeah, what's fun for us is that we've played so many concerts over the years, and so it's great to actually get to throw one for other people. Yeah, knowing exactly what the best parts of these things are. So getting the audience seated right in the middle of everything. I mean, there were people like between the bass and the drums almost. Yes. You know what I mean? It was like not directly in between because that would probably hinder the music a little bit.
Not psychologically in between, physically in between.
But I mean, just everybody's right there on you. Those are some of my favorite musical experiences when the crowd is so close that you could literally reach out and touch them, and you just feel very connected. And that was a great feeling.
Yeah, and we don't really know where this is going to go. We have a lot of people watching online, which is great. And in terms of the video and the audio, they can kind of live on. It's not a live record. It is a live recording in a way, and we have the whole concert up there. You can check it out. But I'd love to hear what people think about it, and hopefully we captured the magic of the moment that we definitely felt here in the Open Studio. In the recording as well.
Yeah, and if you're anywhere near St. Louis, Missouri, keep a lookout for our next one.
That's right,
because they're a special thing. Yep. And precedent to You'll Hear It listeners. For sure.
Yeah.
All right, so what else we got this week?
Okay, well, you had you stumbled upon, I don't know how this happened, an interesting story about Lady Gaga.
It's all over the jazz news. First of all, okay, this headline is hilarious. It's Watch Lady Gaga cover Frank Sinatra at Fred Durst's Jazz Night. That is the weirdest effing sentence I've heard in a long time. So I didn't even know this, but apparently Limp Bizkit's Fred Durst hosts a
Wait,
regular...
just say Limp Bizkit again. Every time.
Limp Bizkit, which was a band of my teenage years.
I mean, like one of the best band names ever.
That's terrible.
I mean, how much weed do you have to smoke before you can get to that title?
I can tell you exactly how much. They host a regular live jazz night in Los Angeles. It's true. I'm a big fan of jazz, he told LA Weekly in 2017. I've been for a long time. It's not necessarily something that people who know me from Limp Bizkit know about me personally. There you go.
A lot of splaining. A lot of mansplaining going on there.
Fred Durst might be a You'll Hear listener if he's a big fan of jazz.
What's up, Fred?
There's a good chance, man. But I mean, it's just... And
keep on limping.
And no offense, if you love jazz, it's awesome. It's just totally unexpected.
Knowing
him only from like Backward Red Hat,
yeah.
I did it all for the Nookie, Fred Durst.
I love the
incredible.
title of
but then, of
article.
course, Lady Gaga, who is definitely, I mean, she's recorded with Tony Bennett. You know, she's dipped her toe.
She's, you know what, I gotta say, mad respect for Lady Gaga. The few jazzy things that I've heard that she's done, and I also just heard a story from someone that actually played a little bit with her at the Grammys. And I don't think it was in the broadcast, but like backstage or something, like singing a stand. Like she takes it. I mean, she's not a jazz singer, but as she dips her toe in it, she takes it seriously, and she does it respectfully. She doesn't do it like some of these people that just kind of stumble upon it late in their career because they need a gimmick to get them over, you know.
Man, I'll tell you what, I like Lady Gaga, and I know it's like, I don't know, there's a weird thing. It's like, what do you want out of a pop star other than the fact that like she's super creative and dedicated and works super hard at what she does, and she's
apparently
good.
Crazy. That's the whole package.
I mean, but you know what I mean? Like, it's like, why are you going to complain about that when they're obviously so good at what they want to do, even if it's not your thing?
Don't be player hating. Come on now.
Hating.
Come on.
Yeah. I'm glad someone's doing it and is that passionate about it.
That's right.
Even if it's not, all my thing.
Yeah.
But so that's it. So apparently LA, go to Fred Durst's jazz hang.
Yeah.
Celebs might come by and sing some Frank Sinatra songs, which I love. That's the way they paraphrase that is.
So next we have some sad news via the New York Times. James DePogny passed away at 78. And this name I didn't really know, but it seemed vaguely familiar. And I realized actually that I had... He was a transcriber, a band leader, a musicologist, and he was especially associated with sort of documenting and transcribing some of Jelly Roll Morton's music and sort of placing him in the jazz pantheon. And so I remember there was a book from like the early 80s, like a transcription book of Jelly Roll Morton's that I had. Or had access. I think I had it from the library or something. But anyway, so he passed away in Ann Arbor, Michigan. He taught for years up at University of Michigan. DePogny, Professor DePogny taught music at the University of Michigan for decades, but also found time for frequent performances. So here's the book. It was he transcribing early jazz works from recordings, most notably his 1982 book, Ferdinand Jelly Roll Morton, The Collected Piano Music, which helped fuel a rediscovery of Morton, who had fallen out of favor but is now widely regarded as the first great jazz composer. So
I love that, man.
Yeah, man. So this guy was really, we just want to give a shout out for him as he passes into the next place, and a big thanks for him, bringing that, bridging that part of the jazz world.
Yeah, I always love to hear stories about, there's always some scholar who shines a spotlight on someone who maybe isn't getting the respect they deserve, and sometimes that can make a huge impact on millions of people, and our culture. And so,
and we always think, okay, this music is so young that a jazz scholar and stuff is not as needed but I mean, we're getting to the point now where Jelly Roll Morton died in like the early 40s or mid 40s or something, so it's there's a lot of things that can be lost and stuff. So hats off to everyone like DePogny that put the work in, and to document things.
Absolutely.
So next we have, I think this was me again. I'm going to go again. Is that okay?
You got it.
I'm feeling very news anchor-ish.
You got it.
Okay. So this is from NPR News, which I'd never heard of. So I was a little bit skeptical with all the, I don't even want to say the word, FAKE news. I believe that there's things that are, I'm not saying that.
You never heard of NPR before?
NPR, no, this is M as in Martin.
You've never heard NPR? No. It's M as in Minnesota, buddy.
Minnesota.
Okay.
Big shout out to everybody.
Not cool. That's not cool.
It's accurate, though. Okay, so NPR News, I had to look that one up. Yes, you're right. So it's the little clue is up in the upper corner. It's like MSP 47 degrees today. So that's Minneapolis. But they, obviously there's a lot of, this is a very important NPR network because there's so much great programming coming out of there.
Man, Minnesota Public Radio is incredible. I actually have gotten to go to the headquarters. I think once I did a interview with Julie Amaker, who does one of their classical sort of crossover shows, which is applicable to the band that I'm in. And man, it was so nice. And they produce so much great content. You need to get hip to NPR and lose the
Minnesota,
the effect on your voice, because that's
everything comes out of my seeing Fargo, the movie. But I also think about like NPR.
Do it up there. They love it up there. When
their
you do
programming is so good, and I like to say it's like my dad had a good line about this. It's like, that's like that kind of NPR program is classical, dry classical humor for when it's cold outside, or something like that. But they're so great.
My voice is like a steaming cup of coffee, black coffee,
all the way from Norway, Sweden, and Finland.
That's right.
Equally.
But no, shout out to NPR. Okay, so what's
the news?
Well,
we're just gonna talk about it.
I mean, I can riff on. I could talk about regional public radio for a while, buddy.
So this is the headline. I can't figure out if this is like an original fictional podcast that they're doing, like Serial, or if this was real news. A century-old story of jazz and murder in New Orleans. But the New Orleans caught my eye. So I said, if you were in New Orleans exactly 100 years ago, which I wasn't, I was there 20 years ago, but not 100, you might have heard in early jazz recordings like Livery Stable Blues, which did not ring a bell, but being played loudly in homes across the city. The reason? A man claiming to be the axe murderer who had already killed 8 people in the area had written a letter to the New Orleans Times-Picayune, that is the name of the paper, saying that he would be in the city on the night of March 19th, 1919, looking for victims, but that he would spare anyone in a home where a jazz band was in full swing.
I've heard this story before.
Oh,
I've heard about this. Yeah, this was a thing.
The story inspired a song called "The Mysterious Axeman's Jazz." Don't scare me, Papa.
Man. What if it was just like a record A&R guy?
And then that's it. Like, that's the whole thing.
No, I don't know where I heard this, but I've heard a version of this story before, so there must be some kind of kernel of truth, or
I don't think so. It sounds fishy.
It's being spread fictitiously.
Yeah.
But, man, I've heard that before.
Oh, wait. No, this is... Okay, the piece of sheet music is a reminder... This piece of sheet music is a reminder of the reign of terror that gripped New Orleans from May 1918 through October 1919. When reports of a series of grisly like grizzly bear murders
not like gristle in your teeth, like,
right? Yeah. The victims, mostly Italian grocers.
What?
Yes, were attacked at night.
Right. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say this guy was probably Italian,
or by Italian American extraction. Okay, so and this is actually now I've shot over to the Historic New Orleans Collection, which is a legit New Orleans like historical website. So I guess it's true. And I'm looking at the. Check out the little sheet music down there.
Wow.
Don't mind us. We're just chatting and showing each other stuff here on the podcast.
That's fascinating, though.
Okay, well, so NPR is right on.
NPR is always right on.
I don't know about that.
You want to talk about Chicago Public Radio next? I'm game.
Yeah.
No, so last thing here is...
Forget about it.
One of my very all-time favorite shows, a show called Documentary Now. It's presented by... Fred Armisen, Bill Hader, I think Seth Meyers has something to do with it as well. And it's absolutely hilarious. They spoof real documentaries, famous documentaries, and they make their own version. And it's usually like just close enough that it's hilarious. Well, they're about to spoof. It's being released March 20th, which is this week.
Yep.
A fake documentary called Long Gone, and it's riff off the classic music doc Let's Get Lost about the turbulent life of jazz trumpeter Chet Baker. I've seen Let's Get Lost. Have you ever seen it before?
Yeah.
It's disturbing and awesome.
Yeah.
And
good friend of mine was up for the role. Wasn't that Ethan? Did Ethan Hawke play?
No. This documentary.
Oh, the documentary. Sorry. I was talking about the documentary.
There was a drama about Chet Baker, right?
Yeah.
Recently.
Yeah.
No, this was a documentary. I think I saw it.
Yeah, Let's Get Lost. Came out a while ago.
A long time ago.
Yeah, like 90s.
Or maybe even 70s. Before that. No, I think it was way earlier. Anyway.
I'll look that up while you continue.
Yeah. But anyway, so Fred Armisen is a jazz musician, and
yeah, he is.
Yeah, it includes his girlfriend, vocalist Carla Miola, who's played by his real girlfriend Natasha Lyonne from Russian Doll. Have you seen Russian Doll yet?
I have not.
Dude, so good.
Let's Get Lost, 1988.
There you go.
So
good.
Okay.
Anyway,
good stuff.
I'm looking forward to that. Whenever your favorite, like it's like the Office jazz thing that we did a couple of months ago or whatever.
Yeah.
Whenever one of your favorite shows like mentions jazz, you're like, oh, you're talking about something
you're
I
talking
really
about
love.
us. Yeah. I'm a jazz guy.
I like jazz. Yeah.
Well, that should always make This Week in Jazz. This monthly, we should always include those type of events.
Hey, I want to mention too some news. I want to tease
All right.
Possible news, open studio news. I don't know if this is legal, but just for anybody who's an Open Studio member, there may be in 2020 at some point a jazz camp of some kind where you could actually come to. That's all I'm going to say.
Camping like in a tent?
No. Camping like with Open Studio.
Well, I'll give another hint.
Artists.
To add on to that.
Yeah.
It might be in a location of the many locations we mentioned today, could be located in one of those cities.
Possibly where people were being murdered.
Okay, I'm trying to hint, and you go straight.
I didn't say anything.
Could have been Minnesota.
Hey, we're in St. Louis, buddy. Murders happen.
That's true. Okay, so that's good. I like that. We kind of teased that out. We're in the very early stages, but yeah, that'll be cool. Camp or conference? We don't know yet.
Camp.
Combination. Okay.
Fantasy camp.
Cool.
Fantasy conference.
Fantasy.
That sounds not right.
That happens in Vegas every year. Okay, we've been getting some ratings and reviews that are off the chisane. Just wanted to let you know.
Okay.
Did you know that?
Okay.
Okay. Can I read one for you?
Go ahead.
Okay. Are you ready for your ego to be stroked?
Always.
Okay.
You kidding me?
This is a 5-star review officially, and the title of it is Amazing Smiley Face Old School Emoji. It is definitely the greatest podcast for piano players from another top pro pianist. Signed, Herbie Hancock. Thank you, Mr. Hancock.
I knew he was listening.
It is definitely the greatest podcast for piano players from another top pro pianist, and definitely for all levels. But all the others can also find tons of useful and great advices about how to.
That is a sentence.
When, what exactly, and why. Respect. This is from R.D. Dramario from the Ukraine. That's why there might have been a little bit of a run-on sentence.
That's cool.
His English is way better than our Ukrainian, I can tell you that.
Like 1,000 times, yeah.
Yeah. So thank you for that, Romario. It's always hard with these usernames because they're all like, dingy, dusty mouse head, or something. And then we had one... fabulous daily piano advice, 5 stars. This podcast is first rate and deserves 7 stars. You would. Both hosts have a passion for the piano and jazz. Great. That's it. That's all we have a passion.
I know.
We're 2 trick ponies. Great topics every day. Thank you, Jackie C.
Martinis every lunch.
That's right.
I mean, you know what's funny? Both those guys mentioned, I assume they're guys, I don't know why, but that we're a piano podcast. But
we're not a piano podcast.
I mean,
we are surrounded by keyboards
we are
and pianists. But
literally surrounded by pianists. Maybe we should accept that's what.
I'm going to read one more. This will put a chuckle on your face if it isn't already. The title of this one is 5 stars, but the title is Reliable. If you are a jazz musician, every episode is helpful and not too much of a time investment.
I like that.
That's good. That's you know what? That's true. We're reliable.
5 stars, middle of the road.
Cool. Well, thank you for that. Please leave us rating and review when you get a chance.
Now, where can they do that at?
They can do that wherever.
Maybe?
You cannot do it there now. That's become confusingly enough, a blog now. Yeah.
Oh, but you should check out you'llhear.com for the blog.
And the podcast.
But not
for ratings or reviews.
You'll hear it.